Can you believe it's September? How did that happen? To celebrate September, obviously, I'm wearing a three-piece suit. No, I have to dash off and officiate at a funeral. Quite a tricky one, as it so happens. Anyway, I don't know where the year's gone. Not been a brilliant year. Can't pretend it's been a brilliant year, but I'm feeling so much better. Not 100%, because loads of people send me lovely private messages. I appreciate every single one. I really, really do. Look, in a tie. I really do appreciate all the messages. Thank you so much. I hope I answer everybody. I don't want to be a rude if I don't. Yeah, feeling not 100%, but a gazillion, trillion, billion times better than I was. You know him. You love him. He's going to be doing the balance of the show from about 12:25. Mr. September himself, the king of comedy within at least a 5-mile radius around the Tolworth Tower. Neil Long.
Hello there. Well, I'm glad you're feeling better. What's this 12:25? You told me 12:30. I'm going to be complaining to my agent, mate. I'm not having that.
Yeah. Your agent. We need to speak about that because you're paying him, I understand, 95% commission. That's what I heard.
Yeah, he made 30 quid last year.
Yeah. Was that the best deal that you could negotiate with him? 95% commission?
Well, yeah, it's pretty tough.
He's good, though, because all those gigs you do for free, he's charging you. Am I right? He's actually charging you for that. Charging you mileage.
He's running a number on me.
Look, I don't want to cast aspersions, Neil. Far from me to do so, but the contract that said he owns your house, what was the basis of that?
Oh, that's it. I'm my own agent. That's right. Of course. Yeah.
Yes, there we go. There we are. How are you? Did you have a nice weekend? Are you okay? Have you been doing gigs? What's going on?
I had a pretty good weekend, thank you. Got a couple of nice comedy gigs this week. One that I co-run on a Thursday called the Belly Laugh Barn. Looking forward to that.
The Belly Laugh Barn.
Yes.
And which particular farm in Ambridge is it on?
It's not. It's actually a pub in Hampton. And I'm also headlining, doing a closing set on Friday. So looking forward to that.
Say that again. You're headlining where? Because everyone wants to go.
This is at the Pink Peach Comedy Club on Friday.
Pink. I don't even want to go there. It's probably some horrible euphemism for something incredibly rude.
It's not. It really isn't. I can show you.
Oh, no. So that's not the first time you've headlined, though, is it?
Not the first time I've headlined, no. But no, it's.
But it's a big deal.
It's a nice venue. It's a nice venue.
Do you feel? I'm just curious. Do you feel any extra pressure if you? I just crushed my diary. I'm an idiot. Do you feel any extra pressure if you're headlining?
No, but I do want to get it right. I'm aware.
Got to.
I'm aware it's got to be good. It's got to be good and it's got to be right. Much like you got to be professional about it and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, completely. Very tricky funeral today. I can't go into big details, but terribly tricky. One of the most difficult eulogies I've had to craft. Because you had to walk between the truth and not upsetting anybody, between the truth and keeping it
friendly,
real.
Yeah,
it's funny how people, they want this, that, and the other. I don't mean this particular client, and then when it's there, when you reflect back the information you've been given, they suddenly go, wow, no, I don't want people's last memory of my mom, my dad, my uncle, my grandmother, whatever, my auntie. I don't want it to be that. So let's flavor it. Let's make it nicer. And why not? Why not? As I say to every client, it's your service. You got to have There is no the truth. It's whatever you want for that day.
No, I remember the Celebrant, he wasn't a Celebrant, actually, he was a vicar.
Which was he, boy? We need my shirt's undone. How did that happen? How does it happen?
Don't know that happened at the funeral.
I don't want to offend everybody. Right. So what happened? The vicar and what happened?
Oh, he was lovely. He just
good.
He was just a really nice, compassionate.
Thank God.
Man, which you couldn't really ask for more. But the point was, he didn't want to bring sort of religion into it. He just sort of said it's about your feelings, what you want to say from the heart, and all that sort of stuff.
Absolutely.
Which was more spiritual to me anyway.
It's interesting. I would say 90% of what I do is not religious.
No.
I mean, people can have whatever they want. They want hymns, they want prayers, have whatever you want. And people go, well, no, Auntie Doreen, she wasn't religious. No, I don't think we'll have this. I don't think we'll have that. Although I love it when people kind of want to, my dad would have said, spread the bet. Because you don't know, do you? No one's ever come back and said, yeah, I saw heaven. It was absolutely fabulous. Marvelous. It was like sort of Club Med, but even better. I don't know, whatever. And so people say, I tell you what, put in the Lord's Prayer. And it's like, well, if I spread the bet on the roulette table.
It is. It's like
I
remember someone once saying, I believe in God just in case. But
just in case. The other version of that is where people say on their deathbed, and they go, will you recant the devil? And the guy said, well, this is not the time to be making new enemies. I always thought that was like,
one of the funniest stories I heard, it was we were talking on Radio Jackie, and for God's sake, I just turned the volume down. I'm so sorry.
It's all right. It's not like it's unprofessional in the least. You carry on.
No,
you carry on. Is that your agent again?
Yeah, I know. I'll call it myself. And this a vicar called Ray, lady, I think, rang in, and she said it was one of those.
What is going on now? Who needs you? Answer the phone.
This is the third time I've turned the volume down, and it's not working.
Answer the phone. It's somebody who needs you desperately.
No, it's not. I've got it in there as a suspected spam. Right, I've put silent mode on.
Is it not the London Palladium saying we've got a vacancy? Julian Clare is dropped out for the Panto season. You could be the person.
Oh, hang on a minute.
What's the matter? What's going on now? This is so exciting. He's gone now. What do you think?
Darling, yes, I'll be there at 5. Okay, normal rider. Thank you. So Vicky rings in. We ask for situations where you shouldn't laugh, but you can't help it. And it's just a really serious, touching, poignant bit of the funeral. And what someone had done had left their phone on with the sat-nav on that got them there. So suddenly, at the quietest, most sensitive, tender bit, this voice went, rerouting your final destination.
Oh, my God, no.
Yes.
Oh, I would crack up.
So would I.
I would
because I know you're a bit of a corpser.
Terrible. I'm the worst.
When you used to do panto, I remember you back
in
the day, and you said, "Oh, it was such a terrible
I am the worst. And also, if I have to tell jokes, because I know what the punchline is, I make myself laugh.
And I've got a wickedly evil but beautifully brilliant co-presenter, and she will say things so innocently. But no, we both know there's.
That's the one I've met several times at your home.
Yes, there's been several over the years. I think it was the one you met.
Yeah, Nikki.
That's it. Yeah, she's brilliant. Yeah. And we were talking about very innocently on air. This is Breakfast Radio, remember, about little knocks and accidents that you have in the car. And she said in front of me and the news guy, "Yes, I was once rear-ended in a car park," and we just looked at each other and we just lost it.
Boom!
Yeah.
Boom in the room. The worst time. There were two. One I can't tell you because it was so disgusting, but it absolutely killed us. And everybody afterwards at Capital was saying, what was going on? And we couldn't tell them. But Chris had got a hold of a recording by somebody. He played it to us. We couldn't control ourselves. But the other one, which really was so silly, and when you hear it now, it was Chris was away, so Neil Fox, Dr. Fox, was sitting in for him. And the newsreader, Justin Kings, was reading the news. And
stop. Don't tell me. Harry Redknob.
That's the one.
I remember it. He tried to say Harry Redknapp.
He was going to say
Harry Redknapp.
And he said Harry Redknapp. And for some reason, it set Neil off completely. And
It would do.
Neil, who's terribly professional, he makes it look casual, but he's very professional.
Oh, yeah, it's
Neil
brilliant.
lost it. And the rest of the show was just people corpsing, just completely corpsing.
And then I remember there was a staff party and they did a little presentation to Justin, who was a lovely guy, talented guy.
Very nice guy.
And let's just say they'd been to the sex shop in Leicester Square for the presentation. It was red, and we'll leave it there.
We'll just. I tell you what, I don't.
I remember that Harry Redknob.
Oh,
yeah,
God,
Harry Redknob. Harry Redknob.
Just,
Harry Redknob.
I mean,
because that was Neil Fox's humour anyway. Anything like that.
Yeah, because he's a smart.
He had a very sort of
he and I
noisy sense of humour, which I do too. So
yeah,
it's just
I
remember.
Yeah,
I heard it.
Childish.
He said, "Who's Harry Redknob?"
And of course they'd clipped it, what means they'd done the little recording of it, because you can do that. And they kept playing it back to Justin, and it just ran on and ran on. About 3 hours of.
Do we have a guest today, old chap?
No, we do not have a guest today.
So what would you like me to do after you leave?
I'll tell you one more thing about corpsing, and then I'll talk. I'm not talking about being a celebrant. I mean laughing when you can't get the lines out. I hate it when, and I've seen it so many times, when they pretend to corpse. And I've done pantos where, I'm not going to mention any names, they pretend to corpse. And I find that really, I get embarrassed. You know, the first time you see it, you think, oh, it's quite funny. You do 84 shows and someone's pretending to corpse, like they've deliberately got it wrong, etc. like that. It's couldn't be bothered with it. Couldn't be bothered. What do I want to talk about? I actually got quite a serious subject, but I don't want to lumber you because I've got to go in 15 minutes, and I don't want to lumber you with it.
Well, try me.
All right. I'm going to be very careful because we live in a Stasi state at the moment. Do you think, it goes under the name of Operation Raise the Flag, but let's not give it some fabulous name from World War II.
Is this about painting the St. George's Cross on zebra crossings?
Not that, because that is subject to, is it vandalism? Is it this? I don't really want to get into that. Because strictly speaking, that's vandalism. Okay.
Can I ask something about that? Because
my question was, and then here's the question to think about, and everybody else think about it. If you live in a country where showing the country's flag is seen as an act of rebellion or resistance, it speaks volumes. Or do you think this is horrible nationalistic jingoism that's going to end very, very bad?
And this is what I was going to ask. I don't know if it
ask
is
your question.
Genuine patriots, people who just love Britain and they want to fly the flag. And why shouldn't you fly your flag?
Why shouldn't you go to America? Everywhere's got the Stars and
flying your flag because you love the country, or it's very different from flying a flag because you want to tell people to get out your country because you don't want them here. And I'm not sure. I don't know. I do not know whether it's an act of racism and separatism or whatever the word might be. I think you get my gist what I mean by that. Or whether it's genuine patriots, and I don't know.
This is
what I have started doing is painting crisscross yellow lines everywhere I go on the road because I thought people might want a game of Sudoku while they're waiting in their car.
It's much more nuanced than that, isn't it?
And I genuinely don't know what I think about it.
How do you think
if it's patriotism, flying the flag? Why not? Well, look. Come on, we should all look for things to celebrate every day.
You don't go past Buckingham Palace. I've just thought about this. You don't go past Buckingham Palace. And what's that? What is that? Why? Why have you said that?
Because I made a joke.
It's a weird thing to say. Right. This is good. I really think the manufacturer of the Union Jack, well, it's the Union flag, as you know, Philip, should put it this way up. That's very good. That's very good. Here's the thing. You don't go past Buckingham Palace if it's got the Union Jack, a Union flag, as it's called, because there's two flags. One's called the Union Jack. It's really called the Union flag, and the other is the Cross of St. George, which is the English flag. Same as the dragon is the Welsh flag, and blah, 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 blah. Okay. You don't go past, go racist. You go, oh, it's a flag. It's the flag. Now,
It depends
Where
what
it
the
goes
intention
horribly,
is.
where it goes
The
horribly,
intention
horribly.
behind it, isn't it? Isn't it?
It is the intention behind it.
It's
But
the
if you
intention
can't,
behind it.
I think the country's at boiling point. Now, some will say it's been deliberately stirred up by social media, by this, that, and the other, by bad actors. Maybe it's been stirred up by China. Who the bloody hell knows? Right. Other people say, do you know what? It's a question of just had enough. I'm just gonna have just had enough of this.
But the
We can't
problem is,
stand this.
if
We
that is
can't
the
stand
case,
this government.
then
But where does it
people,
stop? Where does it
people,
stop?
innocent people get affected. I was in the comedy room last night. I did a last minute spot down in Farnborough, and it's a real mix of. Oh, Liz, don't be so pedantic. You get the gist. Just go away.
Don't go away, Liz. We love you.
Pedant. Oh, you're a semantic pedant. Go away.
She is funny.
Well, okay, in her mind.
She's
Anyway,
funny. You like her.
okay.
Go on. You did this gig in Farnborough.
And there was a mix of people there. There was a very funny Muslim comedian, and he is very funny. In the audience, there were some Hindu people, some brown people. There was always a mix, and wherever you go, that's the case now.
Good.
And
Good.
It was asked by the MC. This subject was brought up, and it doesn't make you feel uncomfortable. And the Hindu lady said, "Yeah, it does actually. You know, if she's made that town her home, quite legitimately, why should she feel uncomfortable? But then again, if it was just patriotism, it shouldn't make you feel uncomfortable because it's just people flying their flag and being proud. But if it's you know, go back to where you came from sort of vibe, well, respectfully, she's home already."
That's true. Neil, I'm a journalist, says Liz Elizabeth Saul.
Yes.
Which she is, and a good one. Here's the point with that Hindu lady. The Hindu lady has not tried to set up Sharia law. The Hindu lady has not said, you will obey to our rules, that you will not eat bacon. She has not insisted that dogs are filthy. She has not done this, that, and the other. Hindu, Sikhs, everything. This is not about that. Now, my point is, I know where you're going to go. Let me say this. This is about one particular sector of society that is trying to sway the rest of the country, that somehow seems to have some death grip on a government that seems to prefer them to everybody else. That's what this is about. The problem is it can so easily get out of control.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
I understand. I'm not saying I totally agree. I understand completely the frustration of mums and dads, grandmas and grandpas at what's going on, because it's a disgrace. It's a disgrace. And it will not end well. But, you know, these things start, and then the next thing is, all right, I'll give you an example. I'm trying to steer around it so I don't cause offense. There's a film, one of the Dirty Harry films, I think it was Magnum Force, Clint Eastwood. I think it was the second or third one, Magnum Force. And the conceit of the film is that a group of cops decide to take the law into their own hands and deal out justice. So they know if there's murderers and violent pimps and all the rest of it, they're killing them.
Bit
on
like
the
the
one
death
hand,
sort of vibe.
and on the one hand, you go, well, good, great, marvelous, well done. And on the other hand, you go, well, that's not the rule of law. And then Dirty Harry Callahan, played brilliantly by Clint Eastwood at the height of his cinematic powers. There's one scene he says, well, where does it stop? And his actual phrase is, a cat pisses on your lawn. Do you shoot the cat owner because you're annoyed? You know, that's where it is. And so once you go down that very slippery slope, who else won't be welcome? Who else won't be welcome? Now, I also believe,
and that saddens me, if I can just jump in there, because there's, the road I live in, we're an absolute melting pot. Hello, Leslie. Welcome back.
lovely. It's a love. I wish you better. Wish you better,
Yeah.
Leslie Jones.
All the best, Leslie. But please don't be absent again. It's not acceptable.
Yeah. Do you have a note? Do you have a note from Matron?
Probably. Get well soon, Leslie. Wish you all the best.
Absolutely. Get well soon, Leslie Ian Jones.
Our road is an absolute melting pot.
Lovely road, by the way, where you live.
Just about
wide avenue.
Nationality you can think of. We've got Ghanaians, we've got Bangladeshis, we've got a Hungarian. Me, I'm the most typical white British bloke there.
White boy.
White British. For all I know, there might be a couple of Jewish people in the road. I don't know. And I like it that way. And I get on great with my next door neighbours. We get on
because no one's trying to dictate to you, Neil. No one's trying to tell you what to do.
They don't dictate to me. Neither of us have any desire to dictate to each other. We just want to be friends and good neighbours. And and it's when innocent people like that get affected. I can understand why people are angry. I agree that there's some terrible things going on that shouldn't be, but I don't want to see innocent people affected.
But they will be. There's always casualties. I also think there's such bad actors at play here. Such bad actors. I do believe that the far left will be painting what looks like fascist slogans. I do believe that to cause trouble. I have no doubt about it. Oh, that was what's this? Oh, yeah, The Star Chamber, starring Michael Duck. Very good, Philip. Yes, the film.
I don't remember
absolutely.
That.
They take the law into their own hands. The Star Chamber. Yeah,
just back to you, Leslie. Sick notes written in Latin for you, oldies. Thank you for that. You can address it to bigger stickers.
Pueria lenienses quod annus quod mensis ferta principum memoria. Data soli Deo gloria.
That's easy for you to say.
It is. There you go. Your actual Latin. You don't get that elsewhere. All for the price of nothing. Now, this is my fear. And I've thought this for a long time. And I want to be completely wrong. I want to be 100% wrong. We saw under COVID how easy it is to control this country. Because if we went back 7 years and I said, Neil, you know what? They're going to bring in house arrest and the whole country will not only agree to it, they'll applaud it and they'll bang their pots and pans on a Thursday at 6 o'clock. And everyone
hang on, we had to be locked down, didn't we?
The point I'm making, I'm not getting into whether it was real, whether it wasn't real. Put that to one side. It's history.
Oh, I met one of those that thought it wasn't real. And
Yeah. Well, the point I'm making is this. It was done with such consummate ease.
With such what, sorry?
Consummate ease. It was done so quickly. And everybody acquiesced. Now, I'm not getting into COVID was real. No, it wasn't. I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about is the act of basically putting the entire population under house arrest. And we all willingly agreed to it. Absolutely. Mr. Three Jabs you're talking to.
Well, as we should have, and I think they opened up again too early.
I get that. But what I'm
sorry,
saying,
what am I missing? How easily it was done.
All I'm saying is from the theoretical to the enactment of the practical, it went like that. It was done with consummate ease. So the government have run a dry run, if you like, to see how you can control the population. It's doable. One wouldn't have thought so, but it's easily doable. Now, I don't understand who these far left people are being bussed in by. One can make guesses. I don't know. But what I don't want to see, and why I hope I'm entirely wrong, is the government who I don't trust these guys. Well, I don't trust any politicians. I really don't trust these guys because they know they're going to get annihilated at the next election. Whoever by it doesn't matter. They're going to be off. They're going to be off the political map for a generation, probably. Is this if people get really angry and, the word revolution, I don't know what they're supposed to going to be doing with this. It's a fine word, but what are you going to do? Revolution, big word. We're not Che Guevara. We're Maureen and Barry, and you run the corner sweet shop. It's not exactly, the fervor of hotbed revolutionaries. But if they do that and they say, right, for the safety of the United Kingdom, we're bringing in these draconian measures. That's what I'm really scared about. That's what I'm scared about.
Draconian measures such as?
Oh my God! Pick anything you like. Pick anything you like. All right, I'll pick these off the top of my head. I hadn't actually thought to answer that precise question. No gathering of people more than 5 people.
But there's no
against the law. You could bring in curfew.
But there's no
anybody found outside their home after 8 p.m. will be arrested. I don't know. Who knows? You could bring in martial law.
Oh, that's not going to happen.
But Neil, we say it's not going to happen. I'm not suggesting it's going to happen. What I'm saying is, once you open the door, if they want to regain control, it'll be under the guise of, it's for your safety, Neil. Of course it's not for your safety whatsoever. It's so that they can control the streets. That's what I'm talking about. That I don't want.
But there would be an outcry.
Yeah, but if it's... Do you think... All right, I'm really careful. I've got to watch the time. I've got 4 minutes. I've got to skedaddle. Did you become more careful what you said on social media following the arrest of Lucy Connolly? That's my question. If you say no, I think you're fibbing.
No, because I don't.
No, but you don't do political stuff, do you? You don't.
I don't do political stuff. I use social media just to talk to people and barrack over the fence if we're having a laugh.
Yeah, I get that. I get that.
If I wouldn't say it to your face, I wouldn't say it online.
I think a lot of people... Lucy Connolly, was it clever what she wrote? No, we've talked about it. It wasn't right. Was it taken down within 4 hours? Yes, it was. And she was dobbed in by somebody else who took a screenshot.
Can you remind me what she wrote? Sorry, it slipped my mind.
I don't want to go through those words.
Oh.
I'm not going to walk into that minefield. Thank you very much. No.
Okay.
It wasn't smart. She was angry. She shouldn't have written what she wrote, but she apologized and it was taken down within 4 hours. But I would say that a political opponent of her husband, who is a Tory councillor, had taken a screenshot and caused the problem. Okay. I'm not saying what she wrote was right. Be clear, I'm not saying that.
Well, she's just been released.
Yeah, she was released. She went straight onto the Dan Wootton show. That tells you everything you need to know about the death of the mainstream media. The hottest story in the United Kingdom. And that interview went to the Dan Wootton show. I've got to go. I'm so sorry. You are in the very capable hands of the king of comedy.
Well, thanks for leaving me with a nice, light-hearted subject. I appreciate it.
Go and speak about whatever you like. I just wanted to say that. I really have to go because otherwise I will be late, and that is inexcusable. Ladies and gentlemen, we give you Neil Longie Long.
Thanks. Well, thank you. Well, we'll stay with this for a bit. I'll do my best. I wasn't quite sure where we were going to go today with this. Leslie says, I fear the ignorant far right as much as the far left. My wife being Chinese stands out. She is British, maybe even more knowledgeable Brit than those born here. And I've met people like that before. I know a lovely nurse, and she is she's everything. She's half Japanese and she's half South American. And she's lovely, almost a local, I won't say local celebrity, but known locally and loved locally. And people have all kinds of ideas about her, like, can you speak English? She says, I speak 7 languages, take your pick. I mean, she's a polyglot, which is just, ridiculous stereotypes we have of people. So I can understand that. And yes, ironically, maybe your wife Leslie does know more than the people that are born here, particularly if they're following all the negative stuff on social media and all the algorithms, which are just going to serve up more and more and more of that stuff. It is very easy to get stuck in a bubble, which is great if it's stuff that you want to curate for yourself and it's positive, but if that can go rather wrong. A crackdown, in inverted commas, says Leslie, on civil liberties would require larger police and military forces than exist in the UK. Nothing to say they would support the government. Once that line is passed, who knows what will occur? And I don't know. My honest opinion is I don't think that could happen. I think there'd be too much of an outcry. I really, really do. And it's pouring down the rain here. Dave, can you hear that rain? Goodness me. And Dave says, was it something I said? I might have to move to another room. Can you guys still hear me okay? Can you hear me okay? Feedback, please. Just type yes in the chat window if you can hear me okay. I'm not sure if I want to continue talking about this. I'm not sure. If you do, pop the comments on. Or what else would you like to talk about? What shall we discuss today? Going to throw it open to our listeners. Something on your mind? Anything you want to chat about? I would absolutely love to know. Dave, you've always got a good. Well, actually, we get many good comments. Actually, Dave, Leslie, RVB, even Liz, but no more jokes. Philip, what would you like to talk today? Okay, here we go, Dave. Apologies for the tardiness of arriving late, and you're not the first, Dave. You're not the first. Just in shock from a police federation rejection of new mental health support. Would you like to put some meat on the bone for that for us, Dave? I assume MH means mental health. Maybe you'd like to tell us a little bit more about that, Dave. Stick something on the chat window. Do I need to move to another room? Can you actually hear me okay here on the Midday Show? It's absolutely bucketing down. I was not expecting that. No, I'm going to have to move. Right. Sorry about this, folks. Here we go. It shows this is live radio. I am moving to a quiet room. Little guided tour of Long, yeah. There we go. That's better. Live from my kitchen. This is the Midday Show. Dave, put some more meat on the bone for that for me, my friend. Tell me about that. Apologies for the tardiness of arriving. Just in shock from a police federation rejection of new MH, which I assume is mental health support. Tell me more about that, Dave, if you would. Or maybe you'd like to come on, Dave, and talk to us about it. I'll certainly have you on as a guest today. If you like, just pop a yes in the chat window and I'll just ping you the link straight away on social media and you can come on because I'd be quite interested to talk about that. Or anything else that you folks want to talk about. Let me know. Let's do sort of interactive, do some feedback because I want to talk about what you want to talk about. First the rain and now the sleet. Oh, very good. Or we could just spend the rest of the show doing shit jokes. I don't mind. I don't mind. We can just do silly puns on people's names. I'll do that. You know, Neil Schlong, heard it all before. Neil Dong, Neil Pong, heard it. You relation of Janice Long? No. Are you really long, Neil? Yes. Neil, heard that one too. Okay. We offer Police Federation our new exclusive support for officers in their families at no cost to the state, and they turned it down. Why? Afternoon, Neil, loud and clear. Thank you, Mark. I've moved to another room now, as you can see now. It's just the wind falling on my conservatory because I'm so middle class. So, yeah. We can't do shit jokes as Russ isn't here. Oh, he's going to be listening. That would have been duly noted, Leslie. That would have been duly noted. Why did they reject that? Why would they reject something like that? Because there's massive need in the police, and I would say all the emergency services for mental health support. I mean, when I was doing some volunteer NLP, I saw a fireman once who'd been quite traumatized by some of the imagery he's seen. If you want to send a link, happy to. Right, okay, yeah, let's get you on. Let's talk about this, Dave. It'd be nice to have an update with you on what you've been doing, because I know you're doing some very, very good stuff in the world. So I'm just going to pop to Facebook very quickly. Dave, I will send you that link on Facebook, my friend. Am I on Facebook already? I thought I was. No, I wasn't. I've logged out. Yeah, I'm going to send you that link right now, Dave. And it'd be really nice to hear from you. Right. I thought I was going to do a internet fail on me there. Internet's been a bit dodged recently. Oh my goodness, my friend is out cycling. I don't know what it's going to be like. Right, let's just quickly type that in. That's you. Bear with me. It just shows this is completely live radio, and I'm just sending you the link there, Dave. And it should be in Facebook Messenger now, my friend. Yeah, okay, just make sure I've got the right Dave Sleep, because there is more than one probably. Yeah, Dave, pop on. Let's have you as an impromptu guest this afternoon, and get an update on what you've been up to, because I know you're going great guns, and it would be nice to talk to you about it. So Leslie, are you on the mend? I'm pleased that you're on the mend as well, which is nice. Always good to know that our listeners are feeling well and in fine fettle. Who else have we got on the timeline? Liz is here. RVB, Robert Van Buren, our resident horologist. And he does have some fantastic clocks. I've seen them, actually, really quite amazing inventions. Sort of thing you see at a sort of, what do I want to say, like a curiosity shop, or, you know, that kind of thing, in my opinion. And Philip Harling. What about you, Philip? What do you want to talk about today? Do let us know. Right, let's add Dave to the stage. Dave Sleet, hello, mate. Good morning. How are you? Good afternoon.
How are you, Philip?
Not too bad. All the better for seeing you. All the better for seeing you. How goes it? How goes it?
Other than the shock of this rejection, it's, you know, it's been a busy week.
This is a contentious point, isn't it? Because I remember before the midday show, it was MRS, Men's Radio Station, which was set up for men to talk to each other openly and honestly, no masks off, nothing off limits, about mental health and mental well-being, and nobody wanted it. And that's the thing. They've tried, and it's something that's so needed. This conversation around mental health, and particularly in the forces when they have to deal with the things that they have to deal with every day. And I think, why would anyone not want this? Why?
Fear.
Of?
Fear is the only reason why men particularly give in to bottling it up, kicking it down the road until they can't kick it anymore. And it's fear of the perception of others over their own well-being.
Okay, I definitely want to explore that. But you're saying this is the reason why what you offered to the Met got rejected, fear?
I think there's a lot of kind of connotations with any organisation that takes on board a new approach. Because you have people that you're paying to come up with solutions to support your teams, whether that's the Met, whether that's any, you know, blue light service, whether it's any company, you know. And if the knowledge is what the knowledge is, and you get the outcome from that knowledge, and we know that the outcome is not hitting the mark that a lot of people would like.
Yeah.
So if you've got people that you're paying to come up with solutions, and they give you a cake that you don't like the taste of, and you say, well, do you know what? I'm going to go and get another chef. Right? That makes sense. But you've then also got to admit,
it's basically they ask for the answer, but when you give them the answer, they don't want to hear it.
Because they've put their trust in themselves to come up with a solution, and to accept that that solution isn't delivering is a sense of kind of internal weakness that they haven't been able to deliver. And what they're delivering, that isn't as good as it could be. But we know what the outcome is. We know suicide levels have gone up since the pandemic. We know that systems that were designed before the pandemic were struggling, and they haven't altered since. Well, if they couldn't cope before the pandemic, they couldn't cope during it. They sure as aren't coping after it. And what we created with our Alpha Stim partners was a new way of getting intervention into anxiety environments, whether that's transport, whether that's the emergency services, even education. We've started to reach out to as they start coming back after the summer break. But it's all about taking that step into the evolution that a lot of people are scared of.
So is it better the devil you know?
Is if you can sit there as a CEO or a public servant and say, I will happily sign off the current outcome and allow that to continue, then explain to me why that person's in their job. Because if the status quo is what's acceptable, then we're looking at things getting a hell of a lot worse. Companies can't afford the long-term sick.
And we know, and there is science behind this, that a happy workforce is a productive workforce. There's science to say that pleasure is productive. Mm-hmm. This nose against the grindstone culture, is 24/7 on culture, mm-hmm. is not healthy. Mm-hmm. And you are absolutely right, Dave, in to say that men, because I've done it, will kick it down the road until he can't kick anymore. Yeah. But then it kicks you.
Yeah.
But then it kicks you, and then it kicks
monster,
you.
Right?
Yeah.
When it kicks back, it's so much bigger.
Yeah, absolutely. So I simply don't understand, in the same way that I couldn't understand when Russ set up the station MRS, why the big charities, the people who could help, the people who it was targeted at, didn't want to know. It's like we all desperate for a solution.
Ultimately, it's ego. Ultimately, it's ego. None of us want to accept, because we're conditioned not to accept that we can't cope. But we're humans. We're not designed to cope. We're designed to come together in.
And I've been really honest about
adversity.
This.
But we've taken that conditioning out.
And I remember back in 2019-20, my mental health was at an all-time low. And I have been very open about it on this show. But I was conditioned to think that, and the more lower I felt low about being low. You should be able to cope with this, said the inner voice. What are you? You're pathetic. You can, which is terribly unproductive and terribly unhelpful. But once that inner critic gets in and we've got it, and it starts niggling away at you. You're not enough. You're not good enough. You're not this. You're not that. You're shit. You're letting this take you down. Look at how that person's suffering over there. Look what they've suffered, and you're letting this take you down. And that's not
the gremlin. That's the gremlin mentality. And Roald Dahl was a genius when he created Gremlins, really was. And most people don't realize that the Gremlins that Disney created were based on something that Roald Dahl had written in the 40s.
Roald Dahl was a genius.
He was an absolute genius, but he had his own demons, and that's what he was writing about. So the idea that we get to a point where the gremlin itself is now taking over our mental health. That mental health gremlin is going to burn the kitchen down inside your brain if you let it. And it's a phenomenally powerful kind of component that we're conditioned
you have to learn for the gremlin to try and ignore it, or just tell him to fuck off, because he's never got anything good to say.
Yeah.
And if someone close to me and said, my inner voice is saying this to me today, I would embrace that person and remind them of all their good points and all that sort of thing. I wouldn't go, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. You probably should just curl up in a corner and disappear. We've got a couple of comments, and I think we could probably devote the rest of the show to talking about mental well-being if you're up for that, Dave, and you're welcome to stay.
I'm happy to share.
Okay. Leslie, I have a minor MH. I assume that means mental health. I couldn't say goodbye to my wife, son, before a dangerous medical procedure. I regret it, but it was right for me. So why does it bug me? I'm not quite sure what you mean by that, Leslie. Could you explain that to me a little bit more, and then we can I don't want to deep dive into the wrong thing. In the meantime, Philip says, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm on a 3 today. I don't know why. I'll be okay in a day or two. It comes and goes as it pleases. I can understand that. No one's mood is constant all the time, and I like the highs. I like feeling on top of the world. I like feeling brilliant, but occasionally I'll have a down day, and if I do, I'll say to the people that are close to me, I'm not having a terribly great mental health day today, feeling a little bit down. But what I did find after it was really bad about 5-6 years ago, I find it becomes less intense, less regular, and less long, and I can bounce back quicker now, which is a sign of my progress. And that's maybe quite a useful visual for you, Philip. And this is, I'm not telling you how to live your life. I'm just saying this has worked for me on a for what it's worth basis. But if you put it on a visual and look back where you were, and imagine it like stretched across a big table, like on a visual, and where you were and where you are now, you can say, oh yeah, I've done that, oh yeah, and that, and that, and that. And I think you're right not to fight it as well. Because if you fight it, it just adds another layer of resistance to it, and another layer of another reason to feel shit. It just adds another problem. So sometimes just sitting with it and being with it and letting it be there, it'll pass through. It normally does. My life's generally all right. Maybe reach out for a bit of support. I don't know, whatever you need, whatever works for you. Right, is a good thing. And it'd be good to share strategies. You were saying, Dave, sorry.
So, Philip, first off, thank you for sharing, okay?
Yeah.
Because ultimately, having the confidence to go, actually, this is where I am today.
Yeah.
That's a phenomenal skill set that can only happen if you've got that self-awareness in the first place. And the gremlin doesn't want you to be self-aware of it. It doesn't want you to be able to go, this is today and tomorrow's a different day. It doesn't want that. So first off, thank you for sharing. I use two kind of visuals as you were kind of alluded to, Neil, because mental health is not a raincoat that you just put on when something bad is happening. Okay. Mental health is a constant balancing act of your experiences and your coping strategies with whatever you are facing in any given moment in time. And when you can hold on to the things that you know, and as Philip said, he knows that in a couple of days he'll be okay. You can hold on to that's your experience. It reduces the power of that moment to bleed into the next couple of days, because you know you're going to get through it, right?
Yeah.
Holding on to what is your positive experience, what's your actual knowledge that says, do you know what, today's a down day, but it's okay to have a down day, because if I don't have a down day, how am I going to know when I'm having an up day?
Yeah, we need the contrast to some degree, but you're right. If you know that, if you've got just the faith to know, if you like, and I don't mean that in a religious way, I mean that in any way you want to take it, to know that it's going to get better. If you believe things always work out, you could maybe tune into this show and enter a healthy group discussion amongst men. Leslie, am I free to share what you've typed? I just want to get permission before I put that on the screen. So if you're okay with me sharing publicly what you've typed, because we are live in public, please just type a yes. Otherwise, I won't. What else? We got another one here from Mark. Had a couple of down days weekend for no reason, but today I'm back. I'm bouncing back. Yeah, it's a funny thing. Sometimes things just come up, don't they? And sometimes it's things that I thought I dealt with years ago. It's like, here I still am. I'm like, oh, you again, you know.
Yeah. And, you know, it's a bit like when we go on holiday and we get a cold, right? It happens to me all the time. As soon as I take a break,
I know why that
my body goes bang. And mental health is exactly the same, right? As soon as the brain goes, okay, now you've got capacity, you can deal with this. I'm going to let some of this out. because I've got to get rid of it. I can't have this gremlin running around all the time.
I agree. I think the reason why we get physically ill on holiday is because our nervous system is constantly on when we're running around. A nervous system fight, not fight, flight, but stress. You know, beta wave. If you study brainwaves, all that. The go mentality, the 24-hour on mentality. So the immune system hasn't got much of a chance to even get a look in. But when we start to relax and go into the parasympathetic nervous system, suddenly the immune system kicks in, and it's got a lot to deal with because there's been a bit of a toxic load. So I think that's why. But I love the way you say that counts. That counts mentally. Mark Simon's "feel it to heal it," as they say. I've heard that saying. My greatest fear was that I would get stuck in it if I felt it. Normally, that doesn't happen, but sometimes you do need to just feel the things once more. It kind of just needs to come up once more to be processed and dealt with. Philip says, I'm coming to you. Sorry, Dave.
The other thing to bear in mind is humans and are conditioned to prove themselves right. So whatever you tell yourself a situation is, you will look for the reasons to justify that that's what you believe it to be.
Yes, it's called the particular activating system. It's a part of our brain. That's why you can buy ladies a new dress and then suddenly see it everywhere, or why we could buy a new car and suddenly they're on the roads everywhere. It's reticular activating system, and it's been discovered, again, proved by science. So, which instantly would explain prayer, law of attraction, affirmations, and all that new agey type stuff. Basically, it's the science, if you like, behind that. If you look for something, you will see it everywhere. And it will look to justify the belief system that it operates in. So always, the tip there is always think about what you want, not what you don't want. I want to have more money is very different from I don't want to be skinned. Yeah. Because it can't process a negative, if you like. I don't want to be skinned. It's just like skin.
Negative is going to feed the gremlin after midnight.
Yeah.
and positive is going to feed the mugwai before midnight. I mean, which one of those creatures do you want running around in your brain? The gremlin that's going to burn the kitchen down, or the mugwai that's going to sing like a choir? You feed the one that
I would only want Gizmo, though, because when they made the other Mogwais, they didn't quite have the same personality. They weren't as nice as Gizmo. But I catch the metaphor. Yeah, Gizmo definitely. Okay, back to Leslie. Consultant in intensive care said the drug they were giving me might cause brain bleeds. Even St George's Hospital would let an ambulance take me to them. I was close to death due to blood clots. I've got permission to share this. They said, I want to speak to my wife just in case. I couldn't. But maybe that was just faith that it would all work out ultimately, Leslie. But don't feel bad about that. We all make the best decision we can in the moment, given the knowledge and information that we have. And that goes for all of us. No one I know goes, I'm going to really deliberately screw things up today. No, we make the best decision given. And also, if you're in a stress situation, we know from science, the prefrontal cortex, the front part of our brain shuts down. That's why we do less than good things, less than wise things when we're stressed. Okay. We're at our best when we're in parasympathetic nervous system and the brain is not being hijacked by stress. So don't feel bad about it. If you were in a different state of mind and a different state of circumstances, you would have probably done something different. But there's no point in feeling bad about it. It's a time for understanding. And for what it's worth, I'm really glad you're here. So and I think we all are glad you're here, Leslie. So to me, that's the most important thing, more so for me personally than a decision that you sort of feel a bit bad about making. I wish I hadn't done that. We all make the best decision we can, and you were under a lot of stress, my friend, and science would back that up completely. You would see if there was a reading of your brain and the blood flow in your brain, it would have all gone to the limbic system, the emotional center in the center of the brain, not the prefrontal logical cortex. And that's why you're thinking, well, why did I do that? Why did I do that? Did I do that? You did, but hang on, which part of you did that? Which part? Which bit?
And that's the thing, Neil. We get it. We've gone through that knowledge growth, that understanding and that awareness, but the vast majority of people don't get to have that understanding. They only left with a decision that they question after the fact, when more information has become available.
Yeah, it's we can all live life in hindsight, can't we? Leslie, the good thing after medication work, the consultant did speak to my wife, confirmed what she said. He's a fighter. There you go. So she clearly believes in you, as we all do, my friend. It's turning into a really nice conversation.
And ultimately, Leslie, when you make that decision to say, do you know what, I've got to get through this now, my family will be told what they need to be told when they need to be told. You decided that option was better focused on you in that moment in order to protect you and your family.
Yeah,
there is nothing wrong with making a decision to protect somebody else when it's done for the right reasons. And
exactly. And also, it just reminded me of something else, Dave. Also, oh bless you. Sorry, getting emotional now. It's helped. And by the way, that's perfectly fine too, Leslie. And that's brave man to say that. And I feel quite touched by this conversation actually. But also, when I learned neurolinguistic programming, NLP, which I know you're familiar with, Dave. It doesn't have rules as such, because one of its tenets is flexibility to make different choices rather than rigid rules. So to give it a rule would negate that tenet straight away.
There's a reason why the brain's kept in fluid.
Right. But yeah, exactly. Yeah, nice. But one of its tenets is people make the best decisions they can with the knowledge and information. This is where I'm talking from, my NLP knowledge. And plus also I lost my train of thought for a second. I'll come back in a minute. Hold on. People make the best. Behind every behavior is a positive intention.
Yeah.
So if you were to peel that right away, in fact, if you were doing NLP, Leslie, they'd probably have you put your hands out in front of you. And on this hand, you'd have the part of you that made that decision and wanted to understand, and the part of you that didn't understand why you made that decision. And if you pair them both down, they've both got a similar intention at core, but you have to go a little bit deeper. It could be to protect your family. It could be self-love. It could be love for your family. But I can guarantee you 110% it would have been positive, and nothing that anyone's got any right to judge you for, mate.
The only thing I can add to all of this is, at some point, Leslie, give yourself some time to apologize to yourself for beating yourself up about a decision that you made. Come to a point where you can accept and acknowledge the decision for what that decision was in that moment. And those 3 A's, apologize, accept, and acknowledge, will allow you to then embrace that outcome with your family when you are clear of that kind of personal hurt.
And then you can move on from it as well and take the positive learnings from it, and it doesn't drag you back into the past. But just remember, people make the best decisions. We all do.
You break the feeding chain
that we have at a time. That was absolutely lovely. Could you give us those 3 A's again?
Apologize to yourself, accept and acknowledge the decisions were made in a moment in time. And that allows you to then understand that was that time with that knowledge. Today is a different level of knowledge. It's a different understanding, and therefore decision making would be different.
Of course it will. We're all evolving, changing, growing beings, and we, some things can serve us for years. Then we need a little update and think, hang on a minute, that. I mean, a very obvious example is don't talk to strangers. Well, that's perfectly good advice at one age, and really bad at another age. Otherwise, we probably wouldn't be talking, because I'd be too scared to, because you might be a nasty, scary man. That's ridiculous when you put it that way. Do you know what I mean? But things need updating, don't they?
And it's been proven that idea of, and that it's also been proven that whole premise of stranger danger was a myth that just created a nice funding kind of bubble.
Tell me more.
Well, stranger danger is no different now than it has ever been in human history. But back in the late 70s, early 80s, it was a massive campaign to highlight the risks of stranger danger, when the vast majority of abuse, abductions, child risk was from Uncle Bob.
Yeah.
It was somebody the family knew.
Yeah.
That's where the risk was.
It mainly is.
And you were safer in the playground than you were in your own bedroom now as a young person, because the windows that we lock around the house are not the windows that we lock on our devices. So we've closed and locked one tiny risk and opened the door to the biggest risks on the planet, because we were groomed into stranger danger.
Yeah, and that's an interesting point of view. Give me your website for people. The least we can do is put your website on screen. Where can people find it if they'd like to learn more about this fantastic work that you do?
So everything that we're running through now is via the mental health clinic in Wanstead. So it's Wanstead mhclinic.com.
Brilliant. Dave Sleet, an unexpected but very welcome guest. Thank you very much.
Oh, it's good to speak to you again, fella.
Good to speak to you. I'm sure our paths will cross again. Maybe in person, hopefully one day, and certainly online, if not. But thanks for all the contributions to the show. You've always, you like you've swallowed a thesaurus, but I like that because I like words. So.
Well, that's my neurodiversity, and
I think we're all a bit. I think we're all a bit neurodiverse, aren't we? I really do.
I think the species wouldn't have survived without it.
Indeed, and that's a good thought to end on today. Dave, thanks very much indeed. We'll speak soon. Yeah.
Take care.
Good afternoon. Wednesday, I'm going to be back with Estelle Keeber. She's her strap line is 10 mistakes that cost me my £10 million business. Wow. She's found her way back, which is really, really good. And I shall be very interested to hear that story on Wednesday. And of course, Russ and the gang are going to be back on Friday. That was an interesting, if somewhat impromptu show. I enjoyed that. And I will speak to you very soon. Take care. Good afternoon.